Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves, and we're wrapping them up, as I indicated. Now, I've waited till the end to do a couple sort of like major violin concertos, only because I did the repertoire videos for those works rather recently. And so I didn't want to seem repetitious. Of course, in the year 2783, it doesn't make any difference, right? Because nobody cares when anything was done. They're just dipping in at random. So today we're talking about Beethoven's Violin Concerto and my favorite recording, which is Heifetz-Munch. I mean, you might as well just bite the bullet because you're never going to hear a more perfect performance of the Beethoven Violin Concerto. Now, there are wonderful other performances. Let's not kid ourselves, right? There's Oistrakh, there's Perlman, there's several times. I mean, there's just lots of them. And interestingly, the Beethoven Concerto has come off very, very well with a lot of younger violinists like Hilary Hahn or Maxim Vengerov or people, well, they're not as young as they were, but, younger. Why? Because it's actually a very Apollonian work. It does not require heights of romantic passion of the type that so many contemporary artists seem to be unable to summon. You can play cleanly, and you can play even with some period instrument noodling thrown in there, and it works quite well. On the other hand, none of the period instrument people who have attempted it, and a few have done anything memorable at all. And the reason, of course, is because the piece is mostly quiet, mostly lyrical, mostly based on long cantabile lines, and it needs a certain fullness of tone and regular vibrato in order to make any sense of it. It really does. It just won't work if you do it any other way. I mean, you don't want to hear those gorgeous long melodies chopped up and played, quasi-staccato or with grotesque phrasing. Sometimes you just need a beautiful singing, melody. And that's something that contemporary violinists can do very, very well. Even the ones who are considering embarking on a partial period instrument transfiguration. So there are lots of good performances of the Beethoven Violin Concerto. Let's not kid ourselves. But Heifetz, oh my God. First of all, you got Heifetz. Heifetz, who knew when to quit, who the minute his playing slipped below his ridiculously high standard, well, that was it. He stopped and left a legacy where nothing falls below his ridiculously high standard. Second of all, you've got Charles Munch of the Boston Symphony, which, it's a combination that you're just not going to beat very easily. Let's just put it that way. But what I really like about the performance is, first of all, it doesn't drag. Heifetz was a quick violinist. He played things at fleet tempi. He did, because he never needed to slow down for virtuoso passages. But the Beethoven itself doesn't have a lot of virtuoso passages, aside from the cadenza in the first movement. So, you don't have to take it too slowly. The tendency in the Beethoven is to take it too slowly because it's Beethoven, and because you want to make it sound profound. And the slower it is, as we know from our discussions of Bruckner, the more profound it's going to sound. Well, I don't buy that crap. I really don't. I think it just sounds slow and dull. And so the problem with Beethoven Violin Concerto performances is just that. It can sound slow and dull, especially if you are intimidated by the piece, as many artists are, because it is difficult. It's difficult intellectually. It's not an expressive problem. It's actually rather simple expressively. It's, like I said, it's ethereal and beautiful and lyrical, and it doesn't plumb any tragic depths at all. It's serene, and it shouldn't pose that kind of a problem. But, musicians not always being the brightest bulbs in the chandelier, they tend to get a little overawed. And Heifetz was not overawed. Not a bit. He just wasn't. He just played the crap out of the thing, and that is what I like to hear. And so do Munch in Boston. And the sound is really good. It's on RCA, and it was a living stereo thing. And, it's just wonderful. So that's my pick. There are, like I said, many others, but that one is pretty tough to beat, I think. And whether it's the best or not really isn't relevant. It's the wonderful. It is wonderful. It's just fabulous. And it's up there with the other dozen or two, really fabulous performances out there that you can choose, to your heart's content. But that is mine. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.